Hello, Jess here at Sister Sue's Crochet. Welcome back to my pre-beginner crochet tutorial series. This is video number 5, getting started with your starting chain. In the last video, we went over how to make your slip knot and how to get your yarn started in the center of your skein. So we're going to continue from that. So I'm just going to make a little slip knot here. If you are not familiar with making a slip knot or you need a more detailed video for this, you can always go back to my previous videos and kind of catch up if you're new to this. So we've got our slip knot here, and I want to discuss exactly what's going on with your hands. So we have our working end of our yarn over here that is coming from the skein. This is coming out of the middle of our skein. And you want to lace the yarn through your fingers. This is the way that I lace my yarn. I have it over my pinky, under my ring finger, under my middle finger, and then over my index finger like so. So this is the way that I like to hold mine because it gives me a nice tension, and as I'm working, the yarn will glide through my fingers, and it keeps it from getting too loose or tangled up. So everybody holds their yarn differently. Me and my mom actually hold ours the exact same way, but that could be because we were kind of teaching ourselves to crochet at the same time. So I wonder if maybe we both kind of started holding it like this and then it just kind of stuck. So if you've never crocheted before, you will have a really hard time with just holding everything because it feels really foreign. You're not used to it. So I recommend trying to put your yarn how I have it through my fingers and then just kind of working with it. And as you progress, you'll figure out what is comfortable for you. I know some people that actually will like wind the yarn around like this. There's just, you can hold it any way that you like to, any way that is comfortable. There's no wrong or right way to hold your yarn. So that's how I hold mine. So what we're going to do to start our chain, which the starting chain is the beginning of your project. Any project that you work in rows, you're going to start by making a starting chain. And that is basically the foundation for your first row of your stitches. So what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over, which a lot of times in patterns that's abbreviated as a capital Y, capital O. And to yarn over is just take the yarn and place it over your hook like so. So we've got the yarn over our hook. Let's do that one more time. You kind of put your hook down a little bit and your yarn over. And now you're going to bring that yarn through your loop that was on your hook. And that is your very first chain. So if this is the first time you're making a starting chain, congratulations on making your first chain. So you're going to continue doing this. You're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Now, as you continue making your chain, you want to use your fingers on your left hand that's holding your yarn. You want to use your middle finger and your thumb to hold on to this. So as it gets longer, you want to move your fingers up with the chain. So we're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. I'm going to move my fingers up. And also your right hand that is holding your hook here, you want to use your fingers on your right hand to keep these loops on your hook because they can kind of slide off, especially if you're not comfortable with it and you just started. So, you know, use what you've got. Use your fingers here to hold that on so that way when you yarn over and you pull through, you're not accidentally letting both of those loops slip off your hook. Another little tip is when you yarn over and you're coming through your loop, you want to turn your hook so that it's facing down like this. If you try to pull through like this, you're going to get caught on your loop. So for me, I just realized it works a lot better for me to kind of turn my hook down and go through that loop. So when you first start, making this starting chain is going to be a challenge in and of itself. Before you really start getting into any project, I recommend that you make a chain and practice your chains. You want your chains to be around the same size. So when you first start, they're not going to be around the same size. You're just kind of getting the movement down of how to make a chain. So I want to show you here how to count your chains. Each one of these little V's, it's kind of blurry here. Each one of these little V's counts as one stitch. So if we see our loop on our hook, that never really counts as a stitch. It's always the first one next to your hook. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We've got 10 chains so far. So why don't you go ahead and make 10 more and make 20 chains. So we're going to do yarn over. There's 11, yarn over 12, yarn over 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So that is your beginning chain. I recommend making a chain of 20 and then taking your hook out and pulling it out and starting all over again. And just try to do this simple exercise for the first few days, you know, maybe even a week. I think when I first started, I had a really hard time making my beginning chain. So for the first week, I just sat and practiced making these chains over and over so that I could feel more comfortable with how to work the yarn, how to hold the yarn, how to hold my hook, and just getting used to the feeling of the yarn sliding through your fingers and everything. So I recommend making a chain of 20, taking it out, make another chain of 20, take it out. Keep doing that exercise until you feel that your chains are similar size. That's really what you're aiming for with your starting chain here. You want to make sure that your chains are similar in size to each other. You also don't want to crochet too tightly for your starting chain. Everyone has their own tension that they use when they crochet. So some people are naturally tight crocheters and some are naturally loose crocheters. When you make the starting chain, I'm going to do a few really tight so you can see here. Okay. So these top 3 I did really tight, and you can tell that they're a lot tighter than these ones here near the bottom that you can kind of see through. You can see the holes where the chains are. So if you make your starting chain really tight like this, this is what you're working back into when you start crocheting your first row. So if you make them really tight, it's going to be difficult to get your hook in there. And you also don't want to go too loose either. You kind of want to find a happy medium, but that comes with practice. So when you first start, your chains are probably going to be all sorts of different sizes, and they're probably going to look a little different. Let me do some like really loose here. Let me see what I can do. This is like foreign to me, not using my normal tension here. So there's 3 tight chains, there's 3 looser chains. So I mean, you can see there's a size difference just depending on how you hold your yarn and how tight you're keeping your tension there. So just keep working on your starting chain, and once you have a starting chain of 20 stitches that you feel are, you know, pretty uniform in shape and you're comfortable with, then we can move on, and in my next video I will show you how to do a single crochet stitch. So any questions, comments, anything like that, go ahead and leave them below. You can also find me on Facebook.com/Sister Suze Crochet. That's SISTERSUZ Crochet, all one word. I I think if you look me up on Facebook, it's actually facebook.com/Sister Sue's. I don't think crochet is in there. But you can also search for Sister Sue's Crochet and it should pop up. So if you want to find me on Facebook and send me a message, if you have any questions, feel free. And we'll see you next time for single crochet. Thanks.